Hi guys, simply put, in this section, you are going to learn how to create this animation using several visual effects. And they are very important effects that you will learn and try to practice. And also, you will be able to apply them to all your videos and your motion graphics later on in the future. So let's dive in and let's start creating some visual effects with motion graphics. Hi guys, welcome to this new section where we are going to start creating our sphere. And then we are going to put the backgrounds and do all these things and move our sphere around and make it, fly in the space. Fine, let's start with the sphere. I will create a new composition. I will call it sphere for now. We are going to delete this one, in fact. And I really hope that you have downloaded your project from the lecture before, so we can have the pictures here or the JPEG and the GIF so we can work on and you can follow up with me. Cool. So let's go to sphere. It's over here. What we are going to do is to create a new layer. We choose our timeline, say layer new, and we say solid layer. Let's make it typically white. It's a good example for the sphere. Now I have a white layer. That's it. I will come to the effects and say CC sphere. Now, CC is a good company, it's Specular, and they do a lot of presets and effects for Adobe After Effects and also the other software. I will take CC sphere and drop it on the solid. Immediately, a sphere is created using that solid. It's very easy, very simple. It's created, and notice it's a whole comp, the size here. This is not 3D. The layer is not 3D, but it will look like 3D. Let's look at the parameters. The first one is rotation. You can rotate your sphere on the x-axis, y-axis, and the z-axis. That's cool. But then in this case here, it's all white, so it's not showing with us. That's no problem. We will train on that when we put a background, something nice. You have the radius. The radius is always 200 when you start. That's the default value. And you can grow it in and out. And this is the way you will scale your sphere. Do not scale it with scale unless you have to. Okay, then you have the offset. The offset is this small center here. You can take the offset and put it anywhere you want. So you have the center of the sphere. This is very nice, and you can use it to move the sphere. It has its limitation. I will show you how. You can always right click on a value here and say reset, and it goes back to its original value. Cool. Let's look at lights. Lights is pretty interesting. First of all, you have the intensity of the light. How intense is the light? And you can make it as crazy as you want or as little as you want. That's a matter of choice now. And of course, depending on your background. Then you have the light color, and that's pretty interesting. You can make it yellow. Of course, if you have a background, if you have some image here, it's going to change. It's going to become much more beautiful, for example. And you have the light height, and that's pretty interesting. Notice how the light is moving. You can decide I want to put it that way, and also you can decide, okay, I want it this way. It's just a matter of taste. You decide what you want to do. Let's look at the shading now. And in the shading, you have the ambient light. If you reduce a bit the light height, and you see the ambient light is where how much the light is being diffused, or how much light there is as ambient light all over. Cool. Also, you have the diffusion here. I will reset this value. You have the diffusion of the light and how far or how much light you want to go around when the ambient light is active. For example, if you do it that way, you can increase the ambient light or decrease it so it does not cover everything. So these are few parameters that you can play with also. I will reset this one. You have the specular. If we reduce the light intensity a bit, you notice you have a specular here. The specular is like where the light is hitting. You can see it over here. Let me try to give it to you nicely. I guess so. So you can see the specular here in the middle now. You can make it smaller or bigger depending on what you want to do. Now this is the specular is where the light is hitting, and then it will diffuse or propagate all over your sphere. And you have the roughness of the specular. You can see it is nice. Cool. Sometimes very useful. And if you wanted the metal look or non-metal look, it depends on the background that you will use. It will give you certain effects. And of course, you have the reflectiveness or reflective. How do you want your metal here or the specular to be reflecting within your sphere? Cool. And also you have a reflection map. We'll see that later on. You can use a reflection map here to create it. So actually, this is all about the CC sphere, and it's pretty easy to use it. Let's reset it. Let's animate our sphere now using the radius and the offset. Fine. I will just reduce here, remove parent, hide this. Cool. So I will keyframe the radius and the offset together. I will open now the keyframes. They appear. I'll go after, for example, a few seconds. Cool. And I will say, okay, make it very small or very big, the way you would like. Fine. And the here, we'll move it, for example, to this way. Okay, up here. Cool. Let's go back here and move it even more to this side and down. That will do for now. Good. If I run the animation now, let's end the work time. If I animate it now, press spacebar, you notice it's going just in a straight line. Now I don't see the motion path here because I animated with the offset. Now actually there is no motion path. So if you have your planet, animating in a straight line, you can use the offset. That's pretty practical. But if it's not moving in a straight line and you want to curve it and so on, you will have to use the position. That is all about the sphere and how to use it. It's pretty simple. Of course, here, when you put a background, things are going to change. This is what we'll see in the next lecture. See you then. So now that you know what CC sphere is all about, we can start creating our own planet. So what I will do, I will create a new composition. I will call it the globe. That is going to be our main composition. Okay, and we'll say, okay, let's make it 5 seconds. That will be okay. And I'm going to take the Venus map.gif. This is a map that is, it's a real map of Venus, and you can pick it from the web. There is a special site. I will give you the link later on in the section for you to download all the maps that you want to download. But this is a very big, beautiful map. You have also the Jupiter map, so it's up to you which one you want to use. I will take the Venus map for now and I will drop it. Now I have a very big picture. If you notice, how big is it? What I will do is right click on the layer and say transform and say fit to comp. Cool. I will go now to pre-compose. I will create surface 1. Okay, so what I have achieved, I've just taken the surface itself and pre-compose it and scale it down. That's it. Okay, so it's pretty easy. Then I will come to the globe. That's how I like working. Maybe you want to do it in here, but there are some complications. I will come to the globe and take the CC sphere and drop it on the surface itself. Immediately I have my planet. It's pretty cool now. So now if you look at rotation, you notice how it can rotate in 3D, somehow in 3D. And it's pretty neat, by the way. Let's create a small animation here. I would like to show you. I will keyframe the 3 X, Y, Z and go, for example, after 2 seconds, whatever you like, and just change them randomly to show you how it works. It's pretty neat, huh? And here you are, you have your sphere, and it looks like you are in 3D. Let's remove all the keyframes. Cool. Now, there are a few things that you would like to note. For example, here, I used the surface 1 and I made it as big as the comp. Let's imagine that you don't want to do that. You will come here and say reset, and now you have a very big comp. If I go back, I have a very nice composition, but now I have less details. If you notice, this one is really blown up. Okay, so when you come over here, it's gonna do the sphere, but it has less detail. So you want really to make it transform and say fit to comp. That's one. Sometimes fit to comp does not work. Now, why this works is very important that you look at this map. You see, this is a map. It means the beginning is equal to the end. So if you connect this side, the right side, to the left side, you find out that it is continuous. For here, I don't have a break. If I rotate it, for example, on the y-axis, you notice I don't have a line in between. Okay, it is very, very smooth. But if I come to the surface, for example, I want to make it just a bit smaller. And you notice the difference here. Now, immediately I have a gap here, and it is not like it's rotating very nicely. You see, there is a gap. So if you want to use CC sphere within a pre-comp, make sure that it is equal to the size of the composition here. That is one. And you need it to be what we call seamless. and that is very important. That means the beginning is equal to the end. Cool. Let's go back to something we couldn't see before, and this is if you want to render it full to the outside. To the outside here, you don't see anything because it's rendering this surface and not the back surface. So in some maps, you might, have a difference. Now, if you go to the inside, that's pretty cool because now it's rendering these border, the left here, a piece of the left and a piece of the right, and putting them in front. It doesn't make much difference if you are just a viewer, but sometimes you want to be keen. For example, you want this texture to be in the middle, or you want this texture to be, let's reset this value. You see this texture is in the middle here. If I go to the full, then this texture, you notice it went to the back. So there are a few things that you want to be careful about when you're using CC Sphere if you are keen about your surface and how you want it to look. Thank you very much, and in the next lecture we are going to pre-compose another sphere and start doing some effects. In this lecture we are going to start using the blending modes, creating another surface, and use the blending mode to have certain effects. And also we want to use the curves effects, and I will show you how it works. To have another planet and identical to this one, I will take surface 1 and duplicate it. Take the surface and drop it in my timeline. But now it looks exactly, like the map. It doesn't have CC Sphere on it. To have an exact one, what I will do, I'll go back to surface 1, take the CC Sphere by pressing Ctrl C, go back to surface 2 and paste it. So now I have two identical planets, one in front and one in the back, as you can see. I will undo that. Cool, but that is nothing. We didn't do anything yet. So we will go to surface 2 and we want to play with the colors here. I will come to effects and presets and look for curves. Now curves is one of the most important color correction that you will use and play with. So please learn it very well. I will drop it on the layer. So what is curves? Curves can change the colors, increase them, decrease them, have a map for all the channels in your image or video. And we can look at them here. You have the red channel. You see how much red you have. If you remember, you have the green channel, you have the blue channel. We went through this in the course. Let's go back to the full RGB. This gray line here is the full RGB. If you click and take it down, you will be crushing the colors. I like calling it like this, or removing the luminance or the light from the color. Okay, if you can take it up, you will be adding the colors and increasing the luminance and increasing the colors all together. Of course, you can come and reset it. Cool. But also what you can do is use the red channel only. Now the bar turns into red. You can, manipulate it the way you want. Okay, create a map here, something like this. Okay, play with it. It's a matter of taste. There is nothing here I can tell you this is what you must do. No, not at all. It's a matter of taste, it's a matter of playing with. But the concept is very easy. The concept is this bar can determine on the right side down, removing, and this one is adding. Okay, these are not the right technical words, but you will understand what I mean. I will reset this one. For our purpose here, I will come to RGB and crush the colors. As simple as this. Cool. Then I will take the red channel, for example. In fact, it's already here. I can take it down. I have the green channel. Okay. I have the green channel here. I can take it down also. And I have the blue channel that I can take down. Cool. I will crush it a bit less. Take the colors a bit higher. Cool. And this one is okay here. This one here. And this one over. And the blue channel, let's pull it up. Cool. Now we have something quite good to work with. So this is what I would like to do, but you can change, you can play with it. Just remember the principle of curves is a very important effect. I'll go back to my globe here. Nothing happens, of course. What I will do is to play with the modes here. Let's try add. This is the first thing everybody tries. Add, and you notice how it has changed the colors. This is without, this is with. Cool. Let's try linear light. Here you are. But first, let's go to the sphere, the top sphere, for example, and increase the light here, the light height, and you will see what's happening. Cool. You notice what's happening here. Now, with the light or linear light, things are changing. I can increase the intensity, and you have a completely different planet. the line height. What is important that you learned here, combining the mode with the curves, you have something really extraordinary that's happening. In fact, it won't apply only to CC sphere, but it will apply to all the images and the videos that you will be pre-composing in the future. Cool. So that's one effect that you have done here. Now we need to add more, and we are going to add some very nice effects in the next lecture. So now we are at this stage where we have our both planets in the globe. With the add mode, you know, you can change, do whatever you want here, make it beautiful. We want to add one beautiful effect, and this is CC radial. Now in the CC, I will write radial, not CC radial. I want to show you something very important. There is in blur and sharpen, you have CC radial blur and CC radial fast blur. So we are going to use the fast blur radial. That's very important, not the CC radial blur. I will take it and drop it on the surface 2. Now the effects opens, and you have here the center, you have the amount, and you have the zoom quality. You have standard, brightest, and darkest. I will choose brightest, and look exactly what's happening here. They are starting to come out. I will just blow the amount to show you. Notice that the lights now is coming from the back layer towards the front layer, and it's coming like it has holes. If you can change, for example, to a linear light, if you like, it will stay the same because the light is coming out from surface 2, but then the effect is changing completely. You can use, I don't know, a screen, for example. You have a different look. You can lose differences, and here you are, you have something else. I will stick to add, and I will come to surface 2 and reduce the amount to something that does not come out from the composition. You know, like this, it's coming out from the comp. If I'm moving it, it's not gonna be good at all. I will take it down to over here. Now I need to rotate both of them. I will go for this figure, yeah. I need to rotate both of them. Now, if I rotate the first one, if you come here to the surface 1, if you do the rotation, then the surface 2 will not rotate. We need to link them together. The way I'm gonna do this is come to surface 1 and lock this effect here. I will come to surface 2, open the effects, and I have CC sphere, and I want to play with the radius, with the rotation, of course, the radius and the offset. I want to link them all to the surface 1 parameters. I will come to rotation, point to the stopwatch, press Alt and click. Immediately it will open the expression, and I will link it to X rotation, link to X rotation. I will do the same for the Y, link the Y to Y, and link the Z to Z. It doesn't matter if we're gonna use them, but just link them in case you want to use them. Cool, that's 1, 2, 3. The radius, of course, we need to link it, radius to radius. And the offset, in case we want to use it, we link the offset to the offset. Cool, that's all we want to do. Now, what is important is when I come to surface 1 here, I will unlock. And if I rotate the Y, for example, you notice how both of them are rotating together. That is quite practical. And notice how the light is coming up. So it is not magical. It's just composing the effects. This is the power of After Effects, is be able to compose the effects between mode, and now you have CC radial, fast radial blur, and you have the curves. You have now quite a fantastic animation or an effect here that is very useful. Of course, you can apply this to your videos and other images and do whatever you like. Now this looks pretty cool, right? But we want to add a border here, and it will give you a chance to learn about the turbulent displacement and something else. So the border here, a thin border, that will give it the illusion of 3D somehow. It's all motion graphics, it's all magical, so it's really not important if it's realistic. I'll see you in the next lecture to add turbulent displacement. Hi guys, I hope you are following up with me. I hope I'm interesting. I hope this interests you. If not, if you think I'm boring, just please send me a message. Don't write a review, just send me a message that will tell me, okay, you are boring here, or you are exciting, or whatever. Fine. So now we want to add this border, and it's pretty nice and pretty easy. How are we gonna do that? First of all, we want to duplicate this layer. If I duplicate it now, I have an exact layer. But if I change this layer to add my displacement map, then it will also change on surface 2. So what I will do, I will come to surface 2 here and also duplicate this one. So now I have a brand new composition here. I can take it, come to surface 3, take my composition, press the Alt key, and then drop it in. So I have a brand new composition here. I'll just double click on the comp and take my Venus map here, delete it, and create just a solid. I will come layer, new, and solid. This solid yellow will do. That's pretty nice here. And we make our solid. If I come back to the globe, you will be surprised that the solid has taken all the effects, the sphere effect and the radial effect, and that's pretty nice. If you want to keep the radial, that's fine with me. It's very beautiful. Okay, let's put off the radial for now so we can work neatly. We are going to cancel or hide the top layers, and we're gonna go to effects and preset and look for displacement, and we want to use the turbulent displacement. Take it, drag it, and drop it on the surface here. Cool. Now what does displacement do, or turbulent displacement? I don't know why they call it turbulent displace, because you have the option of turbulent, bulge, and you have twist also, and other options that are quite nice, including the cross displacement here. Let's look at turbulent, and we have an amount here. If we decrease that amount, you notice the turbulence is decreased. That's one, until it becomes negative also, and you can increase it and you have a lot of displacement and a lot of turbulence. It's pretty nice and pretty useful. Also, let's put this, for example, at 20. Okay, that's enough. And look at the size. You can decide where you want the displacement. You can decide how far the displacement is gonna go from the borders. And if you say very small ones, it's gonna start, you know, just a bit from the border. If you say very large quantities, it's going towards the center and so on. It's really moving the center now. Let's put this one at 4, for example. That's quite good. You can see it over here. And let's give it a higher amount, so it's displacing a lot on the border. So you notice this is the amount of displacement. This is the displacement from the border. So you have 2 pixels from here. Okay, complexity, we want it very complex. I think we have too much displacement here. Let's put it at 3. Yeah, cool. And we can hide the complexity. That's not bad. The evolution is made to, you know, rotate it or change it or you know, make it random all over. Cool, that's one. Then we come to the sphere itself. You notice how it's not very clean here. We wanted to add the lights so it covers all of it. That's quite good now. If you add the CC radial, you have something very beautiful that also you can keep and use and change the way you want if you like. Okay, that's quite cool like this. Good. Now we have the turbulence displacement in place. Let's put on the other 2 layers. Of course, nothing is showing because this layer has the same radius than the top layers. We need to increase this radius here. I will come to the surface tree, open the FX, open CC sphere, go to radius. Where is radius? Over here, and simply add a few pixels. I will add 20 here. You can add 40, 50, 5, whatever you like. And if you click out, you notice that it's appearing. Now let's work on the evolution. So it's moving around. We keyframe the evolution in the beginning and we go to the end, for example, and we add, let's say 5, 6, whatever you like. More you add, more is gonna take time from your rendering. And I will come to the beginning, go to preview, and let's run a preview. So now you notice how it's really cool and doing it right. I will zoom in to show you just on the borders what is happening. Here you are. You notice like fire is coming out and so on. Of course, there is a billion trick that you can play here, and it's really amazing what you can do. Fine, this is done. What we want to do now is to animate our globe, to bring it from behind and bring it in front, and of course add the background, which we will do in the next lecture. Thank you very much for listening. I will see you in the next lecture. Okay, now it's time to animate. I hope you're enjoying this, really. So to animate, it's gonna be pretty easy. First of all, if I want to animate, I will animate surface 1 only, and the 2 other layers will follow. For that, we need to do some parenting. I will bring the parent. I will say columns and parent. I will parent the 2 bottom layers to the first layer because I want to use the position and the scaling if you'd like to. Cool. Then I will open the position. I will open the scale. That's pretty cool. I will keyframe both of them and move it to over here, for example, if you like, and make it 100 or 0% even. Yes, coming from here, 0% will do. Okay, then after a few seconds, let's say 2 seconds, I want it to become 100%. Okay, so I will just write 100%, and I want it to come over here. Okay, and actually I want it much bigger. I want it that way. Yep. Okay, yes, this will do a bit more. Not bad. Cool. So if I look at my animation, it's straightforward now, but my keyframes are linear keyframes. I will click on the keyframe, say keyframe interpolation. You already studied all this. I hope you know it very well. I'm gonna make them Bezier. That's pretty cool. And then also this one, I can make it Bezier. Let's say keyframe interpolation, linear, make it Bezier, and make it Bezier. Cool. Here you are. Let's say we do like this, and this one comes here. And let's look at our animation now. It's glowing, coming in, and it will bump. Of course, I will come over here for both of them, press F9 and make them easy ease. I can come to the graph and start playing with the graph the way you like. Okay, for example, for the position here, you can work with the Y and Z or whatever you want. I'm not gonna do that here because you can play with it. Let's animate and see. Pretty good. It stays in place. Okay, that's one animation. Of course, you can see now and work on it and say, okay, I want it to come from far. I want it to come from like this. And from here, for example, no, I don't want it to be that big. Reduce. Then it will come very fast. Here you are. Look what's going to happen. Come like this. And then it sits in place. That's pretty cool. Cool, guys? Okay, that's done. Now we want to add the background. I will go to my project. I have here a background for you. I will take it and drop it. Now this background, first of all, we need to make it as big as the composition. So we go fit to comp, but it has so many stars and the colors maybe we don't like. So there are several ways to do it. The first one is, of course, use curves. And we are learning about curves, so let's use it. Come to curves and drop it on this layer. What I will do, I will crush the colors completely. Right, and bring my planet here. Not bad, that's cool. Or make it bigger, and I can play with the red, give it more red if I like to. There is no red here. I can also play with the green, the blue. If I take it down, nothing will appear. Take up the blue. Let's crush more the colors, and here you are. You have a fantastic background. You took any background and you made it quite cool. Now we have a problem. This is not rotating at all. The plant is not rotating. I'll come to the first surface, open, and you see there is no rotation. So I will keyframe the 3 rotations, come to the end of the composition, just give them random values. Anything you will like will work here depending on what you want to do. Okay, so let's run now our animation. Press spacebar. It's gonna take some time to render. Of course, we are moving a lot of layers and we are moving the turbulent displace. That will take quite some processing. So our planet is rotating, not so much. Okay, let's go back, press U, and let's add a bit of the rotation. What you want to add is the Y rotation. If you come to the beginning of the Y, let's make it 0 and 0. And at the end here, I can use the navigation here. We have 1 and so on. It should be good. Let's run a RAM preview. We come to preview, for example, and press the RAM preview. Now maybe it's not much better. Okay, but it's rotating. We can see it. Cool. Now that you have done your animation, you can come and start changing the colors. In surface 1, for example, you can crush it with the curves again. You can apply curves to it and decide, okay, let's remove the colors, make it darker. Let's hike the red or diminish the red and make it green like this. And here you are, it's becoming all green. Of course, you could do that the same for having this one becoming stronger and not red, using the curves. So actually you have a lot of manipulation to do. If you build it and you are using the right effects and you know how to move the effects, then everything will be fine. Let's look at our animation at the final look, and then we will move on to the challenge. Here is your final render, and now our planet is green and rotating pretty fast. So what I would like you to do here, come and make it to your taste. Make it the way you like it. The rotation is a bit wrong here. Nevertheless, this is what we work together just to demonstrate to you. You can make it slower, you can make it with more impact, you can change the motion path and do whatever you like. It's very important that you rebuild this animation. And in the next lecture, we start our first challenge for the CC sphere. I'll see you then. Hi guys, in this challenge, I would like you to create the ball using CC sphere. Nothing complicated, but you have to figure out how to make the colors. And then you make it bounce a couple of times. And then it goes inside the cup. And notice how it goes inside the cup, not on the cup. And then comes out and goes away. So this is a small challenge, but it will challenge you to create the colors, to use the CC sphere, and to make the animation, you know, very practical. Remember to use easy ease to get some life to the animation. I will see you in the next lecture, and hopefully you will work hard to create this small challenge.